What is happening, folks? Joe of All Vapes coming at you. Been quite another minute since we've done another one of these reviews, but just kind of collectively getting everything back together into a steady pace, semi-steady pace, you know what I'm saying? This was going to be a live review, but life, as it has its way of doing, kind of kicked in and didn't allow me to get it that far, but I digress. We're going to get on to some really good stuff. So first of all, just to kind of give everybody a little bit of an update as to where I am with my reviews. I will still be doing reviews, but I'm only going to be doing about 2 a month. So that's going to be bringing it down considerably, considering my standard was about as many as I could chalk into a week, you know what I mean? But it might be more than 2 a month, but hopefully it will definitely not be less. I am somewhere down the line probably going to be just trying to streamline everything that I do a little bit because I just have way too many family priorities going on right now. But I still enjoy doing what I do, and I definitely want to keep this moving. So today we're going to be talking about a Canadian e-juice brand, actually 2 different brands, exclusively from a Canadian distribution company called Vapenorth. And I don't know the specific area of Canada. I suppose I could have found that out. But awesome flavors going on here. And the cool thing is that everything that was sent to me was done in 0 milligrams. And that was per my request, actually. Because every now and then, if I just, even at 3 milligrams, if I keep vaping, it just totally destroys my appetite. And then I don't eat anything. And then I get kind of lethargic and then kind of bitchy. And Lord knows we don't want any of that. You know what I mean? I get the hangry. So first of all, we're going to start with a company called MVMBV, Mind Blown Vape. Really tasty stuff. 2 of them, the only 2 flavors from this brand right here, called Patchy Drips and then Dusty Drips. Okay? So this stuff is a high VG 70-30 blend. And you can get it in 0, 3, and 6 milligrams. So I'm just going to read you off the description as per their description here. Patchy Drips, this one here, sweet and sour and more sweet, basically. So kind of what we're talking about is an accumulation of every runt candy that you've ever tried, ground up and then coated over other flavored fruity candies, okay? So at first glance of reading just the description, it sounds a little convoluted. You know, I mean, there's so many flavors out on the market, and I always have said before, it doesn't really matter what the flavors are, it matters what the quality is. So don't knock it just because 50 bajillion other companies out there have the exact same flavor profile going on. Give it a shot for yourself. And I can honestly say that the Patchy Drips is really, really tasty. And it tastes just about like I explained, kind of like you just took a bowl full of Runts candies, ground them up, and then took that and coated other fruity candies with it. It's really, really good. A very solid profile. A very sugary, kind of a dusted taste to it, so it almost feels kind of like you're sucking on a sour fruit and sweet inspired powdered sugar almost. It's very, very tasty, light and airy, and for a 0 milligram nicotine, 0 milligram nic, it's really, really good because I've said before in the past, and I know a lot of you guys have experienced this before. Typically, a good nicotine infusion will make e-liquids taste a lot better. It just gives it kind of a heady flavor to it, and sort of like it's like the MSG of e-liquids. You know what I mean? Dusty Drips is the next flavor here, and this one is pretty much their concoction, their version of Fun Dip. I mean, it doesn't say that in the description. It kind of dances around that name, but this is pretty much exactly what you're getting. This stuff was really, really, really true to the nature of the profile. Incredibly tasty. It just has a very sort of a subtle, a mellow flavor to it, but around that you get a little bit of tart, you get a little bit of tangy, nothing too overly sour. Sour flavors are really hard to convey in e-liquid, even on the best of brands, and this one was a really, really good mix. Very solid flavor, and of course awesome cloud production. You got that high VG going on. So MBV, we're so used to seeing MVB or MVP. MBV, Mind Blown Vapes, out of Canada. Very tasty stuff. Try the patchy drips or the dusty drips. Highly recommend these two sugar candy flavors. And I'm not really a candy vapor. I mean, I never really have been. You guys that have seen enough of my reviews know that. But if it's tasty, I'll definitely use it to switch up some of my typical ADVs, you know what I mean? So we're gonna go to another brand here. This one is Vape Evasion. Okay, once again, from Vapenorth distribution out of Canada. And they have about 6 different flavors. Now they sent me 4 out of the 6, 0 milligram like the rest, okay? So the first ones that I'm gonna show you is Splash, and then they have Splash on Ice. So you can probably pretty much figure out that the only difference between the two is a menthol infusion. But what do you see here? Okay, strawberry kiwi, very, very well, and to be perfectly honest with you, very well worn out flavor. It's extremely traditional. It might as well be pretty much any other fruit flavor out on the market, right? Well, a little bit wrong, because the quality of this stuff really does outstand itself. You know, probably the first taste of strawberry kiwi I ever tried was Snapple. Growing up as a kid in the late 80s, early 90s, it was Snapple this, Snapple that. I mean, it had a huge impact on the beverage community. And strawberry kiwi, that was like their signature flagship flavor, you know what I mean? So I think everybody just kind of got sick of it after a while. But if it's done right, everybody's going to go back to it. I mean, it is the way it is. Quality will always precede any other factor that is going to, you know, supposedly dump it into the ground. The Splash is incredibly tasty. It almost has just a very juicy quality to it. If I didn't have strawberries and kiwis in a bowl to eat, to be honest with you, I never have put the two of those in a bowl to eat. I suppose it would taste just as good as this stuff here, or Snapple, but we're talking about Splash, and Splash is a very good combination. The cool thing about the Splash is that the contrast between the strawberry and the kiwi is incredibly evident. I mean, it's there. You can vape it and taste the difference between the two. I mean, it's just totally incredibly evident. So very, very tasty stuff. The thing that I loved that they did was they took a very good flavor and then they added a little bit of menthol. I love a good menthol. It just lightens up my tongue and wakens my senses, and it revitalizes and recalibrates my taste buds. Gets me ready for the next vape. And I've got a lot of ADVs. The majority of those are very deep flavored, desserty, kind of custardy, deep, rich, caramelly type of flavor. So every now and then I gotta have a menthol just to kind of lighten it up and everything like that. So incidentally, I've got some of the Splash on Ice in my bad boy, my Pharaoh here. And it just lightens everything up, you know what I mean? A very, very good taste. Now, everything from Vape Evasion is 70-30, so you're getting a high VG with this stuff as well. As you saw, the cloud production was pretty on point. Trinity is the next flavor infusion that we have going on right here. This is probably my favorite out of the 4 that they sent from Vape Evasion. This one is peach, papaya, and coconut. Okay, so anything with a good coconut is just, I'm just gonna froth over it, you know what I mean? But once again, like with the Splash, the kiwi strawberry, this stuff is incredibly separated in terms of profile layer and consistency. So you can taste each and every flavor in here. The peach is what hit me first. The coconut was coming on the back end, but it didn't dissipate like it just faded away. It was a solid, good, substantial flavor. And once again, I'm really surprised that a 0 nicotine infused e-liquid was this just deep and rich in flavor. Typically, the 0 nicotines, I haven't had that much of a positive experience from, because they just, you know, the flavor enhancement, believe it or not, a lot of it comes from a good quality nicotine. But I'm really, really glad that I was able to get a 0 nicotine infused e-liquid that actually tasted worth a darn. It's a very tasty combination. The papaya being just a very light and fresh tasting fruit actually really complements the peach incredibly well. And the coconut is so far off in its own little tropical category that it just kind of plays around with the papaya enough, but gives the peach something just a little bit completely different. So you're working with just kind of substandard fruits, stuff that we grew up around, that we know, we're familiar with a tropical twist, and then combined all three of them just to give us something a little bit juicy, a little bit sweet, and a lot amazing. Great summertime vape. I really, really recommend the Trinity. Good stuff. So the last but not least is Pistachioli. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Pistachioli, that's exactly what they said. This one is just desserty amazingness. So I'm going to read the description for you on this. Light fried dough gently wrapped itself around sweet creamy ricotta filling and lightly dusted with traditional pistachios. So a lot of deep, rich flavors going on here. Now, the unique thing about making a craft e-liquid is that it isn't one of the easiest things to do in the world, because there are so many different brands of flavor additive out there, and you've really got to know mixology and just to steep, to not to steep, to add a little bit of this, to add a little bit of that. You'd be surprised at the amount of flavor combinations that are out there where people take really unorthodox flavors that maybe you'd never know, probably still don't, just to put a dash in there and bring out something that you never would have imagined. There's been a lot of companies out there that have really headlined that procedure. You know, I've been really lucky and in knowing a lot of mixologists in the industry that have sort of kind of wiggled me into some of their tips and tricks and how it is that they do, go about coming out with a lot of the best quality flavors on the market. And I can tell you right now, the flavor of the Pistachioli is so on point. Can guarantee it did not take just a couple days to come out with this flavor. This was definitely something that spent a little bit of time and money and investment in, a little bit of brain power. Okay, the pistachios come through so deep and rich, and just a deep, heady, nutty, earthy flavor, and you can really solidly taste just that really amazing fried dough that comes with a cannoli, and the ricotta cheese just comes together in this creamy, thick, rich, and decadent flavor, and just boosts everything around. It's just an amazing combination. If you've never tried a really good cannoli, you're pretty much getting the exact same thing in this, with just a lot less fat, you know what I'm saying, a lot less sugar. So the Pistachioli, definitely an amazing example from Vape Evasion out of Canada, from the Vapenorth distribution company, once again from my Canadian vape fam up north. So all in all, between Vape Evasion, MVMBV, really amazing solid flavor coming from Vapenorth e-liquid distribution from Canada. I just want to give a big shout out and a massive thank you to you guys for sending me all these flavors for review. High VG, just as a recap, amazing flavor quality, even at zero nicotine, solid blends, really, really good quality solid blends. What you're reading from this stuff and what you're getting is exactly the same. Everything is incredibly on point. So definitely consider going to Vapenorth on Instagram. Give these guys a shout, give them a follow. Check out Vape Evasion and MVMBV e-liquids as well. As go on to social media and give those guys a shout out. Tell them that Joe of All Vapes sent you. Okay, so now that that is done and out of the way, I just want to touch base on a couple things here. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to do at the very least 2 reviews a month, hopefully more than that, but definitely no more than 3 tops. Just got way too much stuff going on in my personal life. Got my brand new baby son, and I need to spread myself a little bit thinner than I have been, unfortunately. But I don't want to give up everything that I've been doing with you guys, everything that I've been doing for and with the vape community. I'm incredibly blessed and very grateful. Just got to keep it real, you know what I mean? All those parents out there, you feel me, you know what I'm saying? So if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely give me a DM on Instagram, put something in the comment section below, or message me here on YouTube. I will still be doing giveaways from time to time, not as many as I have been, basically, once again, just to facilitate the amount of time that I have to invest in the things that I still want to invest in. And what I do know is that as time passes, I will be really tightening up everything that I'm doing here on my my Instagram and my YouTube as well, and just making things more efficient and seamless. And to do that, I may end up having to make some decisions that, well, might not make a ton of people happy, but the majority of you will be very happy. Trust me. Every now and then in business and in life, You got to make the tough calls. You got to make the tough decisions. You know what I mean? But one thing I can tell you is that I'm definitely not going anywhere. Okay, so once again, thank you so much for your support. This is Joe of All Vapes, your eye in that vaping sky. Continue to stay humble. Love yourselves, love each other, guys. Try something new. Canadian e-liquid is out there. It's alive, and it's powerful, and it's amazing stuff. Give those guys a shout out, like I said, and you keep it amazingly, sweetly, incredibly cloudy. Hey everybody, this is Joe of All Vapes. Thank you for watching. For the best in vape reviews, pound that subscribe button, and don't forget, vaping saves lives.